Hey everybody, it's me, it's Dan, the famous influencer from the Neon Gutter. I'm hosting today instead of Bert Cohen for reasons which will become very clear very quickly. But I want to welcome you down here in the Neon Gutter. It's great to have you back. Thanks for joining us one more time.
Is it because Bert got fired?
It is not actually, I'm sorry.
Damn.
It's the second best reason.
Okay.
So Bert is actually here with us today. I'm going to introduce my co-hosts today. It's Matt and Bert. Hello, Matt. Hey, Bert.
Hello. And I want to know, this is Matt, I want to know when I get to host, because I've got some ideas to streamline the show, cutting out about 67% of the content.
You'll have your turn never. Okay, Bert. Hi. How are you doing? I'm running this like a tight ship.
How are you? You are.
No fucking around.
You said the reasons that you're hosting would become clear, but it's not clear to me at all, and I'm very uncomfortable to be honest. So I hope it does become clear and why you're hosting.
Let me explain.
To him, this is like driving in England. He's on the wrong side.
It's a little like mutiny.
With a teenager at the wheel.
So the two of you were very fortunate just a weekend ago to be in the City of Sin together.
Yes, it's true.
And I didn't get to go. I was actually in Stockholm.
Yes.
Did you get the medal this time?
No, actually, I called the city and I called Lucky Ned. I actually got in touch with him at 2:30 in the morning. And I was going to be there to try to get some money from him. And he told me to meet him in Stockholm because he said he was getting the Nobel Prize for gambling. So apparently there's no Nobel Prize for gambling. And if there were, it'd be in December. So I had a nice time in Stockholm, but I didn't get to be with you guys.
Yeah, we had the whole gang except you, but we definitely missed you.
Yeah, and you definitely were missed, but it wasn't just Bert and me. We had Jeff and Phil and Robert and Mike and Stevie Fine Print and Jerry and the whole gang.
And Ghazal was there. You connect with him briefly?
Ghazal was there. Thank you.
Definitely, of course.
And Phil.
Yeah, so I'm really sad to miss it, and I'm glad I get to grill you guys about what I missed. Don't make me feel too bad.
I think that's
I already feel pretty bad about it.
Yeah.
So you remember last episode, we got into some can't lose gambling advice from Lucky Ned, but I will tell you, if Lucky Ned ever tells you he's going to be in Stockholm, don't believe it. So the two of you got to actually test Lucky Ned's theories once again in the city itself. And I saw photos of you waving big stacks of dollar bills, of singles. So that was exciting.
Yeah. Enough that Matt was apparently able to retire based on a single weekend following Lucky Ned's advice at gambling. That's right.
So this was your retirement weekend. That's so exciting.
Yes, it was. And I'm retiring. It's really going out on a limb here. I'm retiring. I'm not financially ready to, but I really feel like my future is as an influencer. I think the 20-year-olds need my advice going forward in life. And I think I'm going to get really stinking rich.
As long as you influence with guts, I think you'll be all set to go.
We should ask Ned his advice for being an influencer.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Matt. Well-deserved retirement.
Thank you.
So what made you want to celebrate in Las Vegas of all the places you could go?
Well, really, it was because it's a great place to be with my friends, and it's a place where I see them a little looser with their wallets, a little more freely giving, more generous. And I thought this would be the best place to have a party with them and really get a lot of fantastic retirement gifts. I was wrong.
How did that work out for you?
I was really, really wrong.
So wait a minute. So you spent more than 25 cents a day on this trip?
We had unlimited budget, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yes, we did. Sky was the limit, as they used to say at Vegas World. Sky is the limit.
Yeah. Sky's the limit.
Sky's the limit.
Yeah. Anytime I wanted to spend money, I could spend money. So it was pretty profligate.
So I'm guessing you stayed at the Super 8 again.
Yes, but we got 2 rooms.
Oh, okay. Excellent.
No, Bert.
If you recall on our 25 cents a day trip that you were with us on, Dan, we stopped at the Rio and got some Frio play. And what showed up in our emails when we got back was an offer for free rooms next time we were in town. So we took them up on that. And of course, the resort fees are still applicable. And we got 4 free nights. We only used 3, but it was available for any day of the week, including weekends. And we were in the Ipanema Tower. Actually, our room was in the newly remodeled Ipanema Tower. So it was as nice as it gets for the Rio.
The Rio is like the greatest place in the city in 1995.
Yes.
And
in 2025, it feels like the greatest place in the city in 1995.
Right.
Our room was completely remodeled, but they remodeled it so that it looked like a new room from 1995. Very strange. Really?
Yeah, it's really true. It's sort of strange. All of the furniture's new. All of the decor is new. But it looks like it's been put on a time machine from 1995 and sent to 2025.
Yeah.
So is it distressed? Is it like
No. It's brand new. It's all brand new. It's just the style and design and the aesthetic is all 1995.
Yeah. Just picture
Same
this.
designer.
Me in the room in my parachute pants looked perfect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you got to town on a Thursday, right?
Yeah, and I got in earlier than Bert. I got in.
Yeah, I had a late flight.
Because I was on an unlimited budget, I took the bus from the airport. I took the 109 south to the 104 north, waiting a half hour in a vacant lot in the strong wind. But I got to the Rio for $3, so it was great.
So nice not to be on a budget. That's so cool.
I know.
And did you keep track of your spending this time also? Just how to
I did, of course. Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. I'll tell you some of the big expenditures for the weekend. We saw a show. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
The room worked out for Bert and me $85 each for 3 nights total, which was a great deal for a nice room, free parking, good location.
Cheap.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah, resort fee only.
We might get to it, but did you cut across that gully?
Not this time.
Okay.
Not this time
either. All right.
Maybe next time. I'll have Phil come with me because he's got a weapon.
I was going to say,
now.
if all 10 of us are there, we could make it. He's got a weapon. Okay, we'll get to that too.
Yes.
Yeah, Phil did have a weapon. We'll get to that.
So what's your first stop on Thursday night when you get in town?
I checked in because I wanted to check in. I also had a free room, which I gave to Jeff, Robert, and Phil. But I wanted to check into the room, and I put up and I'll put it up on the site. I put up a little placard that I had made that said that due to the drought, we now have to make a surcharge for $1 for flushing the toilet, $7 on average for showers, and $2 for other water use in the room. And I left that in their room. And then I met with then we went to dinner. But anyway,
we need to see a picture of that because I'm guessing it looks pretty official.
I tried to make
it does. It really looks good.
It worked.
It fooled me enough that I continued to be in the shower for the entire time we were there.
Smart.
Yeah. That's when he made it to the shower. But Mike and Stevie came in from L.A., Orange County, and so we went up to a place I'd never tried before that I was intrigued with called Parlor Coffee and Cooking, which is a block south on Carson Street from the El Cortez. So not on Fremont Street, but 1 block south in a little storefront. It's primarily a breakfast place, but at night they open like a pop-up of cheap burgers. And so I got a really good burger, homemade onion rings, and a beer for $12.
Now, see, you're doing it. You're influencing. You're telling people about Parlor Coffee. And
it was quiet. It was a cool place. And the onion rings, it took them like 15 or 20 minutes. I'm like, what's the deal? And they said, oh, yeah, okay, we'll get them bring right out. And then they said, you know what? We're all out of buttermilk, so we can't make the batter. So they were making me fresh onion rings with fresh batter. Wow. He goes, he tried with something else. Do you want those instead? You can just have them. And I said, yeah, I'll try them. And they were great. Wow. I mean, the batter wasn't perfect, but the flavor was fantastic. Just really quality food for $12.
Very, very cool.
$3 for craft beer.
As an influencer, how much are they actually paying you for this particular review?
The same as all of
free onion rings.
Yeah, they comped me the onion rings, and that was part of the deal. Yeah, I wasn't supposed to reveal that though. But so then we went to the El Cortez to check out the new El Cortez, which is about twice as big as it used to be. They've upgraded; it's cleaner. The new space has a higher roof.
That's disappointing, honestly.
Yeah, no,
Not
I liked it.
everybody was happy about it.
Yeah, a couple people weren't. I actually liked it. And, I'm a big fan of the old El Cortez. I think they did a good job. Okay. The place was packed with hipsters, with hipsters, and they've doubled their table games where everyone else is shrinking their live gaming pit. They've doubled theirs, and the games were packed. They've added a new restaurant called Hot Nudes, which is a cool noodle place. They've added 2 new bars, one that's shaped like a roulette wheel and one that's shaped like a theater. And that's called the Show Bar.
What are the limits on the tables? Still $5 limits or 10?
No, the cheapest table is $15. Most things were like $25, and that's on a Thursday.
Okay.
So it's not our old El Cortez anymore.
Oh, sigh.
Yeah. Our dirty old grandpa's all grown up. Got some free play there, cashed that out for about $10. I lost $25 on a blackjack match play. So there you go. I was betting $25 on blackjack.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's huge.
This is crazy.
Yes. And we went over to the D, checked to see if the Sigma Derby machine was working.
And
it was.
Woo! Yeah. Now I wish I'd been there instead of in Stockholm.
Definitely.
Yes. We didn't have time to play it much then, but we checked it out.
That's the gamble right there, is not playing it while it's running. Because you turn around and you can go offline.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and remember, Ski had told us that the races were getting slower and taking like, instead of 30 seconds, they were starting to take like 31. So I timed a handful of races, and they're down to like 29 seconds. So I think they've done some maintenance.
Okay.
Wow.
The ponies are frisky.
No.
They greased that track.
Yes.
Some new horses out there.
Yeah. And then we came back to the Rio. Oh, no. Then we went to Poker Palace.
Yes.
Which I'll talk about more. This was just a brief visit to play some $3 blackjack and check out the scene. I had made some new poker rule signs for their poker room because I thought their poker rule signs were lacking in things like what to do with cremains if you bring them to the poker room, or rules about how to eat pudding in the poker room. Unfortunately, they've already made their own signs that are far more entertaining than anything I could imagine. And we'll put those on the website too. The misspellings, the grammar, really spectacular.
Yeah, I saw the photo of those. They're not to make fun of anybody, but whoa.
Yeah, just remember.
It's hard to believe, frankly.
Yeah, just remember that you can't put your drick on the table.
I mean, there is a spell checker.
not at the Poker Palace. And they have signs taped all over the casino, including on the entrance, saying that if you wiggle or shake or break a machine or kiosk, you will immediately be banned for life.
For
all
life.
Caps. For life.
For life.
I would love to see what software they're using to ban people for life. So we played a little $3 blackjack. Stevie refuses to ever have another strawberry daiquiri at the Poker Palace because their strawberry daiquiris are the color of a head wound. They're a very strange color.
So bloody. Interesting.
And apparently they taste about the same.
Tastes like a head
I can
wound.
vouch for that.
So I ordered him a rosé because I thought the Poker Palace would probably have a very quality rosé on tap. They didn't. So they didn't have a rosé. So the bartender said, "Do you want me to improvise?" And I said, "Yes,
hell
please."
Yeah.
Does he like his drinks sweet? I said, "Oh, very." And so she took their white and their red and some triple sec, poured it all in a glass, filled it to the brim. And that was his rosé for
That's
the
his
evening.
rosé. Nice.
Yes.
Perfect.
Delicious.
They have a nice policy there in that they usually don't have a cocktail waitress moving around. Sometimes they have like an AV cart, like the AV carts in your grade school when they brought in a movie projector. They move one of those carts around the casino with 6-packs on it and just hand out beers from that. They didn't even have that going on Thursday night. So they just said, yeah, just go to the bar and tell them you're playing blackjack and they'll give you a drink. Or tell them you're playing a machine and they'll give you a drink. And so that worked out great.
Self-service free cocktails.
Yes. Yep. And we went back to the Rio to meet up with Bert because he was getting in late. And Bert, I don't know how you got to the hotel.
I got in late Thursday night, landed a little bit after 10 p.m. And Robert had a delayed flight. He got in a little bit before I did, but decided he had to eat immediately upon landing at the airport.
So while he was having a meal,
yes, he ate at the airport and waited for me to get off of my flight, and then we shared an Uber. I had a $10 credit on my credit card for Uber, so it was $13.50 with tip for the two of us.
I paid $3.
Guys, we don't have to keep track of the costs.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. This is the gutter, Dan.
All right, fair enough. Every penny counts in the gutter.
Matt had left a key for the room he had checked in for Robert, so Robert waited in check-in line for me to get that key, and then I was checking in to this other room at the Rio. The line was not very long, but it was moving slowly. I finally got my key, went up to the room, and we had booked a 2-queen room, but they gave us a king room. Now, they gave it to us in the nicer remodeled tower, but it was still a king room. So I went down, waited in line some more to try and get that fixed, but they said they were out of 2-queen rooms. So we dealt with it. And those rooms do have a large couch with a pull-out bed. Even the bed is kind of short.
Yes.
So I did not even use the pull-out bed myself when I slept on it. I just slept on the couch itself, which is quite long and comfortable enough. But it does have a pull-out bed in the couch if you need that.
And the rooms have a big TV. Everything's clean. It's got a fridge. It's got a big bathroom.
Right. It's a very large room.
The Rio's not going out too soon.
No. I would say if we could get that deal again, I would absolutely take it. The Rio Casino is pretty depressing. It's pretty dead. They maybe have 20 table games, and they're like, it's some sort of contest to see how small space they can cram those 20 tables into. It's like really cramped, and then they had like one live craps table, and the rest were like those hybrid tables. The whole Masquerade Village, where you remember on our last trip, they had all the rodeo people.
They had
in
a
there.
Stage. They had like kind of a bar,
a bunch of chairs, and so it's now completely empty. There's nothing on the floor. It's just this massive empty space, and
no wooden pallets stacked up.
No,
or anything?
No. I think Slots of Fun owns that. That's their idea.
They're trying to be like Slots of Fun.
Yeah. Who isn't?
So it was just empty there, just like
empty. Not chairs, not tables, just empty, just carpet.
Just carpet. Wow.
So you're like a football field away from, not a football field, 100 feet away from that KISS thing at the end of it, and there's nothing in between. Nothing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's an atrium.
With no skylight, yes.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, the one thing the casino's got going for it is they have put in some full pay video poker at the bar at the 25-cent level, so it's very reasonable. The machines are still a little jacked up and have not been repaired, but they do have some decent pay tables and stuff if you're looking to just hang out at the bar, grab a drink or something and play a little video poker. It's reasonable.
Which we did.
Which we did, yeah.
We closed out the night with a couple beers at the bar. I put $10 in the machine, and the guy told me put in 10 more because they can't comp the beer unless you put $20 into the machine. So put $20 in. I lost it all, but
wow.
I didn't. Beer. Yeah. I didn't complain. I mean, maybe for 10, 15 minutes I complained, but that was about it.
So you went to bed early on Thursday night.
That must have been about 1:30, 2.
Yeah, it was 1:30 or 2 o'clock by the time
That's early,
we hit.
Yeah. Well, the reason is because Friday we had an early appointment. We had to get to the South Point before 10 a.m.
And you had to walk.
No, we rode in Stevie Fineprint's car.
All right.
Yeah. We didn't even have to take the bus.
No. And they've got a $15 breakfast buffet, which I think I like more than other people did, but I think for $15, it's a fantastic deal. The drawback is it's a 7-mile walk from Mandalay Bay or a 7-mile drive either way, but you definitely eat more after the walk.
For sure.
But the South Point does everything right, including that buffet, which is very reasonable. I'm not a huge buffet person, although I think I'd get into them more if Vegas would bring them back just because they're so I'm nostalgic for them now. They don't really exist, but I just can't eat enough generally to get the price value out of it myself.
Little hot tip here is if you call it a buffet, it usually you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, that's nice.
I want to go buffet.
Oh, that makes me hungry already.
See?
Yeah.
And
if
you go to the bathroom a couple times and puke, you can eat more and get more for your money.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes
Just
sense.
a tip.
Caesar's Palace has those, the vomitorium.
Yeah, it's not a great buffet, but it's got a good spread of decent food.
There's lots of different options and stuff.
They've got omelet stations. They've got some fruit. They've got one little section with a placard above it that says in quotations, healthy food section.
Just so that's where the corned beef hash is.
Yeah, and the pudding.
So I just have to ask, were there cowboys there?
No, I didn't see any.
Not many. Not many.
This time. Okay.
No.
But I got to say, like he said, South Point does everything right. Everything is a fair, square deal. They're not trying to maximize the profit. They're not trying to rip you off. Everything's just a square deal there.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of an advantage of being off the strip.
The owner's dad being Jackie Gone, so it's in his blood.
Oh.
I will mention that there was one person there that ripped somebody off, and it was Matt, who stole my coffee at the buffet. And you know, it's always you two and coffee for some reason makes a big thing about it. But I ordered coffee from the waitress. I went and got my food. I came back and Matt was drinking my coffee. I thought, outrageous.
Okay, this was my retirement party weekend.
That is a big problem.
It was my retirement party weekend, and Thursday night, you know, they didn't do anything special for me Thursday night. So I thought Friday morning, wow, they're going to really step it up. And I had gone to the food stations first, got back to the table first, sat down, and lo and behold, sitting right there, just like 2 seats down from me, was my coffee waiting for me. I thought that is so nice of them. That is so nice of them to order a coffee for me while I'm gone.
You're retired. You don't need coffee anymore.
So I took the coffee that was mine, 2 seats down, and started enjoying it. And boy, it tasted delicious. It was fantastic. And I was really grateful to my friends for being kind and compassionate enough to think to order me a coffee while I was gone. Right? That's what you did, right?
Okay. So this is getting really passive aggressive. Let's move on. What did you all do after breakfast?
The coffee was delicious. I peed a lot of that coffee out.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Let's go. What did you do after peeing?
We went to the Westgate. Bert had found a poker tournament for us.
Yeah, I was thinking about playing a higher end tournament at Venetian, but these guys wanted to play something a little more affordable, and I was totally fine with that. So we found a noon tournament at Westgate. It was $45 for the original entry, and then there was a $45 add-on later on. But it's basically $45 and $45 for $90. Everybody does the add-on pretty much. And there were about 33 players in that tournament. It's not a huge tournament, but it's you get a decent amount of play for that much money. Yeah. It's right off the sports book.
And none of us won. I forget. I can't remember. You went out.
Well, I ended up getting moved to a different table than you guys right before. I was very short stacked right before I got knocked out and got knocked out with my short stack. But before that, I had a decent stack and had bluffed off most of my chips, which also was something else that Matt would not let me forget for hours later.
He bluffed off half his stack with he bluffed off half his stack with nothing.
Did anybody come in the money in our group?
No, Stevie did the best. I got busted out with a pair of nines against somebody called me with ace king in 9th place. So I think I might have been the second person out of the final table out, and Stevie was out shortly after me. But he lasted the longest. But none of us made the money. Only the top 4 got paid.
I do want to mention one of the characters that I played at for a decent amount of time. He was an older guy, had a cap that indicated he had been in the Navy. In fact, he was an admiral. All the dealers were calling him an admiral. Everybody knew him in the poker room because he plays there a lot. And as I started talking to him more and more, he is an extremely wealthy individual, this older guy. He has 3 homes, one in Las Vegas, one in San Diego, and one in Oklahoma, where they're into oil and cattle ranching.
Jeez.
His family.
Oil ranching, that's hard work.
And he's playing this low-level tournament. He says, if I ever, make the money, I just give the money back to the dealers. But he's gambles all the time. Everybody in the casino knows him. He bets the horses quite a bit, and he indicated that last year he bet on some horse race where the horse was about 10 lengths ahead in the final stretch. He was going to win a bundle, and the horse could have just, waltzed in and won the race, and the jockey fell off the horse, and he subsequently lost $500,000 on that bet with just the jockey falling off the horse.
And so, of course, Bert said to him, "I know a place where there are horse races and the jockeys never fall off.
They never fall. They're built
They're
right
glued
into
on to the horse."
It sounds like you met another ski type character, this really kind of wild character. Who's
a little bit, Matt. I wish he had stuck around longer, but Matt actually knocked him out of the tournament, and Matt said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and he said, "Don't be sorry." He did not care one bit that he was knocked out of that tournament.
And then he gave me the keys to a Jaguar, and I spent an hour walking around the parking garage, clicking the button. I never found the car, so it's still there somewhere.
At least you got the keys. That's a nice memento.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. A little bit of poker.
Yeah, it was okay. I think for $100, I'd rather play the South Point tournament because there's like 100 people that enter that. Had I known this was $90 and not $45, I probably would have hesitated to play in it. But it was still fun, and it's always fun playing with your friends and watching them play.
Absolutely. So it's midday on Friday.
No, we're in the afternoon now. It's about 4.
So it's about 4:00 on a Friday.
Yeah,
exactly.
If I have my time stamped correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, we kind of split up from there. So Matt, you went back to the Rio, and I had some free play from Resorts World.
That's
so
what
we kind of split off. Yeah.
So I wanted to get back to the Rio to get ready for the retirement party these guys were going to throw me at some point. I wasn't sure when yet. I had brought a blue blazer, a gold-colored turtleneck with a gold-colored pocket square, and matching gold sunglasses. Yes, and I thought everyone's going to be dressed up for my big party tonight, and they weren't.
Yeah. You kind of look like Dr. Evil.
Yes, a lot of people ask me if they could visit my island and see my lasers.
I understand why.
I said no, unless they were pretty. Then I said yes. But
I understand why.
But I actually don't own an island, so.
You have a Jaguar. Keys to a Jaguar.
I did show those to a lot of people. So then we were going to the UC Irvine Anteaters basketball game in the Big West tournament out in Henderson, in the only arena in the country named after liquor stores. So we got out there, and first we went to our alumni reception where they give you free appetizers. And that was dinner for us. Bunch of crappy sliders and mozzarella sticks and that kind of stuff. Yeah, it was free. So that was pretty good since it was free. And I thought, great, my friends will save some money. They can spend that on me later. But anyway, and Bert did his own thing.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, I had some free play over at Resorts World. I had cashed some of that in December, did not play any other games, have not stayed there since. They continue to send me more free play and stuff. Wow. So I'm using it whenever I'm out there.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was $150. And so since I was just by myself, I wasn't looking to sit down and play for very long. So I just put it into a dollar machine, a video poker machine, and I hit 4 of a kind threes with an ace kicker. And I won like over $500. I cashed out with $540 by the time I cashed
incredible.
out. So
yeah,
that made my whole trip. Yes, I was
pays
thrilled,
for the trip.
Of course. Yeah, that pays for the trip. Wow. The way we do it anyway. That
pays for the trip. You should see the way he spent after that.
You gotta love that when your trip is just covered.
I did get a nice lunch at Resorts World, which would usually be out of our gutter budget. But what
did you have?
Did you
upgrade to the sweet potato fries?
No, they have all kinds of good Asian specialties in their food court. So I got like a rice bowl with a veggie rice bowl, basically. Nice. It was really good. Really good, and a Japanese beer and stuff with that. So that was a good afternoon. And then I had a little more free play from My Vegas. We mentioned in our December trip that we would probably just delete that app, but Matt and I are still racking up easy points on My Vegas. So we had some My Vegas free play still. Yeah. So I had some at Bellagio. So I just took the Deuce. I still had a bus pass. Took the Deuce up to Bellagio, and for my $25 in free play, I was able to cash out 20. So that was decent enough. And right then, Jeff was texting the other guys. He had been at Bellagio and wanted to get picked up to go to the basketball game. Now, I was going to go and meet up with them later, but I just happened to be in Bellagio at the same time.
It came up last time that Bellagio might have human hunting in the casino. Did you see that? We were talking
the world's most dangerous game.
Yes.
I didn't see any, although frankly, I was not looking for it, but that's a good point that you bring up, because I remember we talked about that.
It is a high-stakes game.
And I think it's refreshing that the Bellagio have found a way for poor people to enjoy their property as well by being hunted.
Or at least be involved in the property.
Be involved
in the property.
If not enjoy. Yeah. So Jeff was waiting for a ride at sort of a strange side entrance to Bellagio, and I found him over there. And just as the other guys were pulling up in the car, and they were very confused that I was there because I had told them specifically I was not getting a ride, and there was no room for me in the car. And so
I wouldn't say we were
looks.
Surprised. I'd say we were disappointed when we saw you. But anyway.
Not an unusual reaction, but I was just there to wish them good luck and wave them off as they went to the alumni party. And I was going to meet up with them later via a bus.
I was going to say
a long bus trip to get there to Henderson.
You won all that money, so how did you splurge on your trip to Henderson?
Took the bus. So I did see some photos from the basketball game. It looks like Phil got on the Jumbotron for a moment.
That was the next night because the first night we won, so we continued in the tournament.
Anteaters won. All right.
Yes, we beat the Mustangs, Cal Poly Mustangs. We had a guy behind us who was a Mustangs fan who actually did not see a call the refs made that he approved of. And he let them know after every call that they had made a mistake.
When it went against the Mustangs.
When it went against the Mustangs. And also sometimes he'd say, "Oh, go ahead. Just keep letting them score, refs." He was very
I hate
upset.
when the refs do that.
Yeah.
But we beat them pretty handily. We were down by a point at halftime. Second half, we really came alive.
Zot.
Somehow the UC Irvine Anteaters realized, hey, if our center is 8 inches taller than their best guy, maybe we should just throw it into him. But it took them quite a while to figure that out.
Right.
But we won, and we celebrated. And Bert joined us. I don't know. He joined us after the game had started because the bus ride was long, right?
Yeah, it was about an hour and a half to get from the Rio to Henderson with a bus change.
With your winnings, you could have paid off the driver.
That's true. I actually, in the middle of the bus trip, because the times on the app kept changing for how late I was going to get there, I did go back to the Uber app and was like, how much is it going to cost for me to just hop off this bus and order an Uber from right here? Yep. I ended up not doing that. And I only missed a few minutes of the game. The game started late too. So that helped a little bit. Gotcha. But it wasn't a bad trip. It was a long one though. But I had put $40 on UCI and they strangely won. So I had another profitable gambling moment.
You guys were winning.
Yes, I have a complaint though, and that is that the arena was 1/10 full, 1/5 full. Maybe most seats were empty, and yet they did not have any discounted tickets, and they had blocked them all off of the resale sites. And then at the box office, we just bought tickets there. The tickets were $35, which is ridiculous for a game that nobody wants to really go to. And then they charge you a $10 service fee at the box office.
Because they have to reach their hand over and hand you the ticket?
Yeah, apparently. It's not easy. Fee. Yes. Yeah, they weren't gonna have ticket issuing machines at the box office. Luckily, they imposed that $10 fee so they could afford those ticket issuing box things. Wow. So it's a nice arena. It probably only seats 6,000 or 7,000 people, so it's fairly small.
So you had 600 people in there or less.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's probably 1,000. There was more this year than last year, but it's not a big draw. Yeah. I mean, we're not a big conference.
Yeah, we've been going to that tournament now for a few years straight, and it's small enough that we're starting to feel like family with some of the other people that show up, including like the guy who does the halftime entertainment and stuff. Like we're all on a first name basis.
You tell him what songs to play,
and he does.
Yeah. Did he do "Welcome to My Castle"? Again,
you know what? I think they don't have that song request competition ever since we got him to play that.
They seem to have ended it for some strange reason.
For anyone who'd like to know what song you can play to truly annoy entire arena, the Evaporators' "Welcome to My Castle." It was banned at my son's school because he and his friends kept singing it on the school bus.
If you want your privileges revoked, get that song going.
Welcome to my castle.
So I'm sure we've annoyed all you wonderful listeners of Neon Gutter, but I want you to know we are grateful that you listen, and we show our gratitude by just playing a little bit of Welcome to My Castle, and then having Matt sing just a little bit of it. That's how we show you that we really love you. So let's give you a break from that song and a break from us for a little bit, but don't go away, because we're going to hear more about Matt and Bert's latest trip to Las Vegas, including a big win at Sigma Derby that one of them hit for a big payout and the other one didn't for a big humiliation. We'll be right back.
Masquerade Village at the Rio. You won't believe your eyes. The only place to play in Las Vegas, the Rio.
Hello, you know me. I'm world-famous toy horse handicapper Lucky Ned. I know listeners of the Neon Gutter love Sigma Derby as much as we do, so we're going to bring you the races at your home or wherever you listen to the podcast, no matter where that is. Could be walking a dog or like visiting your auntie or maybe going to the moon. I'm going to give you the odds for the next race, and you can bet as many quarters as you like on the outcome. After the next segment of the podcast, we'll return to give you a live call of the race with all the cataclop excitement you can handle.
The plastic horses are approaching the plastic gate. They're looking good, so here are the odds. We got 1-2 coming in at 27-1. The 1-3 combo pays 9-1. 1-4 is a robust long shot at 136 quarters to 1. Now you got your 1-5 quinella. That's a lucky 13-1. Our 2-3 combo checks in at 4-1. 2-4 is at 61-1, looking good. And 2-5 is at 6-1. 3-4 comes in at an even 20-1. 3-5 is a mere 2-1. 2 quarters for 1 quarter. And finally, a 4-5 right there rounds out the field at an even 30-1. Now listen, I gotta tell you, as a professional toy horse handicapper, sometimes you go with guts and mix it up. If you listen to this podcast, you know most of the time I tell you should never bet the 2-1 combination. If you lose, you feel bad, and if you win, you feel even worse. 2 quarters is all you get. But listen to me today. I've been on a nasty losing streak, and I need to win. I need to hear the sound of quarters, even just 2 quarters, clanking in the bucket. So I'm taking the 3-5 combination at 2-1. 2-1, look at those odds. It can't lose. This time it's just simple. It's math, 2-1. You're going to definitely win it. So put in a lot of quarters, bet the 3-5 at 2-1. Now I'm going to be back in the next podcast segment for a live call of the race to help you count your winnings. I'm Lucky Ned. Remember to pick the favorite this time, but also go with guts. Welcome to my castle! Welcome to my castle! Welcome back to the Neon Gutter. That's my castle, and now it's yours too. So we've been hearing about our group's most recent trip to Las Vegas. I unfortunately missed out on it. And going into the break, the guys had just left the basketball arena after watching their alma mater, UCI, the UC Irvine Anteaters, win a game. But I'm sure that wasn't the end of the night, right?
So we wrapped up the evening in style at Jerry's Nugget.
And there's a classy joint.
It is after Poker Palace. You know, it's an unassuming place, but I think they do things really well there. And it's the last reliable $5 craps table in town.
It's pretty great. And good pie. I assume you had pie.
Yes.
So how did you do at craps?
Well, I played blackjack at first because there weren't enough places at the craps table.
Yeah, the craps table was busy when we first got there.
I believe that.
I lost $50 at blackjack, moved over to craps, got my $50 back plus about 40 more. So
nice.
Yeah, I made about $40.
Came up. Good.
Yep.
Yeah, I won only about $10 at blackjack, but then everybody else left the craps table to go get pie, and I said, "Hey, my roll is coming up." And they're like, "Oh, well, we're definitely getting out of here now.
We're getting the hell out of
Bert
here.
is going to roll. We're getting our money off the table."
He gives us dirty looks whenever we bet the don't when he's shooting.
It's true. So I just told them, okay, order me some pie, surprise me, and I'll roll. And I had a very nice roll, and so I ended up about $100 playing craps.
No way, nice.
By the time I
By
finished
himself.
But yes,
You kept it all for
myself.
yourself. I love it.
It was all the more sweeter that way.
I was going to say, he asked me to order a piece of, after the breakfast where he claims I stole his coffee, he asked me to order him a piece of pie. So I ordered him a piece of pie, and then I got hungry and I ate that piece of pie. So there's nothing for him when he got there.
Oh, nice.
There also was no coffee for me with the pie,
No.
which, oh, jeez.
I needed 2 cups. Yeah, I think I had the steak and eggs. A decent steak and eggs with hash browns and toast for $8.
It's good food there. It's great food.
And one guy in the group, and I think it was Mike, ordered the Monte Cristo, which is kind of a joke. Because one year we all went for pie after craps. We were all tired. We just wanted pie, go to bed. I ordered a Monte Cristo sandwich at 2 a.m, and apparently they don't have the Monte Cristo chef on duty at that moment. So they had to call him, have him come in, make a really lousy Monte Cristo and deliver it to the table.
He had to
and
stop somewhere and get buttermilk, too.
Yeah,
Right, he had to get buttermilk.
He did. And so everyone else was done with their pie for a half hour before my Monte Cristo came out. And when it came out, it was like, yeah, that's not very good. But
Somebody's got to order the Monte Cristo.
Mike
every time.
ordered the Monte Cristo this time.
Yeah. You can count on Monte Cristo.
But I can tell you, we were all just sitting there. And the longer it took Bert to come in, the more pissed we got because we realized he was making money.
Right. How many points did you hit?
At least 3. It was,
Wow.
it was a pretty good roll.
Nice roll.
It was a pretty good
Nice
roll.
roll.
Yeah.
I didn't throw the dice once this weekend. The dice moved slow. In fact, that first night at
That's good.
Jerry's, so a $5 craps table is the break-in table now. And so it was like a lot of break-in dealers, very, very slow payouts, very, very slow organizing.
Yep.
Lots of times your chips would be put in the wrong place by the dealers. So very much a break-in experience. And that's
Gotta
a
love
$5
it.
experience now. Yeah.
That's
Yep.
break-in is fun. I mean, people kind of put it down, but I always love the break-in tables.
Yeah.
You can kind of get away with more. The dealers are a little humbler. It's
Well,
just
and
fun.
they're not jaded, so they appreciate the tips more.
Yeah, I think they like the humor a bit, and also it confuses them more, which is more fun for us. Did you teach them potato dog and yam cat? Were you calling out for potato
We did
dogs?
not have a lot of
we did
potato
not.
dog or yam cat at the
that's
table.
too bad.
No,
Okay.
no.
Yeah.
Next time.
And I think that was it for Friday. I think about 2
That's it for
a.m.
Friday.
we're back
Yep.
to bed. We had a
go.
huge day. Saturday was the huge day.
You walked all the way.
So if you're listening and you're going, these guys are boring. No, it's going to get good really fast now.
And what is more exciting than going down to Fremont Street first thing in the morning?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Get up. We had a 10:30 appointment, so we were going to grab a quick breakfast on Fremont Street beforehand. And Bert, you tried getting something.
I think we were thinking of a couple places, and then we just decided, hey, maybe let's go over to Fremont because that's right across the street. We were at the D, and we said Fremont's got that food court right across the street. They've got Dunkin' Donuts and some places for you can get a quick, cheap bite and a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But we went over there, and it wasn't that quick, and it was definitely not cheap.
No, I'd say the prices are 3 times higher than any normal Dunkin' Donuts.
Really?
That's about right.
Wow.
Yeah.
In a food
It's
court.
over $15 just for a basic sandwich and a cup of coffee.
Okay. That's,
You know,
yeah.
it's ridiculous.
It's time to go back and pick it.
So a few people, just did it because they were hungry and they're just like, fine, they ordered it.
I do it.
I did not because I felt like this was my retirement party. Someone should do it for me. And none of my friends stepped up and bought me breakfast.
I will.
That's true.
okay.
That's true. I also did not partake, though. I also went without food or coffee.
Jeez, you guys, how do you do that?
Yeah.
I don't know. Bert raised his fist at me and said, solidarity. We were in it together. Yeah, so we didn't. But we got coffee at where we went next, which was the D for Sigma Derby. And we met up with Ski.
Excellent. Our
Yes.
guest, our special guest.
Although it was a little scary when we first got there because we walked up to the machine and similar to the way it was in December, it was totally empty. There wasn't a soul on the machine. And we thought, oh my God, it's not
down.
working. It's not
But it was
And we got
working
up
and
there were-
empty?
Everything was open. There were no stickers, saying out of order or anything. And it was working. It was too early in the morning. So I think we've discovered a secret time. And I think that's
Don't say anything else about it.
Ski, of course. He knew that was the time to go. And
we are not influencers, and this doesn't have anything to do with anybody else.
But this was our opportunity to learn from the master. We got to sit down with Ski, and he was charting the races and giving us tips.
He was charting them live. Wow, fantastic.
And giving us tips. And he is super fun to play with. He's just as loud as we are. And I would say
fantastic.
Within 15, 20 minutes of us playing, there were people 3 deep at the Sigma Derby. People jostling for if their empty seat opened up. There was a woman, really elderly woman. Yeah, elderly woman really crowding into me because there were 2 of them playing the same station next to me, and they were belligerent.
They were great. That older woman kept yelling, "Whip that horse! Whip that horse!"
I'm like, they don't do that anymore. She wanted them whipped, and everyone was into it. It was a fantastic time.
Fantastic. That's great.
And those of us who knew what we were doing hit a 160 to 1.
Wow, fantastic.
And Ski hit it.
It's not that fantastic.
Stevie hit it. Ski hit it. Mike hit it. I hit it. Bert, how did you do on that one?
I don't remember.
I seem to remember you not jumping up and down and shouting when that one came in.
I was going to say you'd remember.
I don't remember that race at all.
If
everybody hit it, I guess maybe I probably did, but I don't think remember.
You did.
I had come up with the high-low strategy. I was going to, it was a very big win to miss out on. I was playing only 2-to-1s and 200-to-1s, the deuces.
That's it.
And for the most part, whenever those were available. And so 160 was not a 200-to-1. It was not a 2-to-1. So I was not on it, and I totally missed out. But it paid for the afternoon for most everybody at the
it was
track.
very fun.
Nice.
Yeah, and
Ski caught it.
Yeah, I was betting all the long shots. So I also hit a 52 and I hit a 39 and the 160. But I was betting a lot. So I ended up ultimately losing $8.50. But man, for like 2 hours, that was money well spent.
That's fun. That great.
Was very fun.
That was very good. I lost more than that. I lost 39 at Sigma Derby.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You guys are high rollers.
Yeah. Well, you know how we were talking with Ski, he bets on a lot of combinations. He bets multiple. We had to bet, multiple quarters, like 75 cents or $1 on each 200-to-1. And so we didn't hit any of those. So we were betting a lot more than we usually would. I hit a lot of 2-to-1s, but it did not make up for the 160
You hit 2-to-1s. That doesn't do a thing for you.
No, it does not do a thing.
I did not bet a single 2-to-1.
If you put $100 in quarters and you hit a 2-to-1. Then maybe.
I think you can only max out at 10 quarters on a
20, I think.
20?
Okay.
I think it might be 20.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a blast. I wish I did. That's
so
the thing
fun.
I'm really sad to miss.
It was very fun. It was very fun. It was great to see Ski and like Matt said, there was a big crowd, a lot of energy around the track. By the time we were in the thick
I believe it. We start yelling and people come around to see who's being gutted alive, and then they just wind up staying for the.
And Ski had played the day before, and he said, I'm going to be there with the Neon Gutter crew tomorrow. And so some people came back to play with him again. And I got to hand out a lot of stickers and introduce the Neon Gutter to an audience that's really our audience. If you're playing Sigma Derby, that's
our audience. Welcome, Sigma Derby players.
Yes.
Welcome. We have a race for you this episode.
Yes. So it was a great time. But we could have stayed a lot longer, but we had other business to take care of.
More business. You had to.
That's true. I hadn't been to the El Cortez yet. They had visited there the day before, so I
wanted to see those.
I just went to go see the renovations and do my free play, the boarding pass free play. So
what did you think?
I liked the renovations. I hadn't. I don't think it seems too new or fancy or anything. And like you said, they've opened up more table games. I'm all for it. I think they've done a great job with it.
Nice.
I did great on my free play.
You guys recognize that El Cortez is doing well because of us.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
Yep. We were at the El Cortez before the El Cortez was cool.
That's for sure.
While Bert was doing his free play and match play, I actually saw the owner, Kenny Epstein, on the floor. And I said,
and did he thank you?
I said, Mr. Epstein, I said, I love what you've done. And he said, oh, thanks. And he was basically doing what Jackie did. He was walking the floor, checking everything out, which, what executives still do that? And he's got a cane,
Right.
and he stopped and talked to me for 5 or 10 minutes. And I told him how we used to call it Jackie's basement, and how, I'd stayed at the Western, I'd stayed at the Gold Spike, and we used to be there when, they had the big mouth Billy Bass. And I said, we'd love to get you on our podcast. And he said, oh, you're that guy. I told you, stop contacting me.
How did you recognize him?
Read the restraining order.
I haven't been served, sir. You can't find me. Because I know what he looks like. And
I guess you do.
We saw him when we were there in December. He was going into his office.
Yeah, we got a
upstairs.
glimpse of him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just talked to him briefly. He was a very nice guy. And I said, we'd love to get you on the podcast. We'll reach out to your people to do that, because he wasn't going to commit to anything there. But yeah. But so I got to talk to him briefly, and he was a very nice guy.
Cool.
And all the success in the world to him.
Down to earth.
Yes.
Yeah, not too surprising considering what the El Cortez is and continues to be. Yeah, that he'd be down to earth that way.
And I said, we're huge fans of Jackie, and he goes, oh, Jackie was my man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because
sweet.
he came up under Jackie. He learned from Jackie.
Oh, that's super sweet.
Yeah.
So did we.
Yeah.
So after the Elko, we headed down to the plaza.
Hanging out
And,
downtown. Sure.
We had a little more My Vegas free play. I got absolutely nothing. This was a first considering all, what we've done, but I got absolutely $0 out of my free play at the plaza. I think I did probably play dollars again instead of 25 cents. Otherwise I probably would have hit a few hands if I had played 25 cents. But I got $0 out of it. How did you do, Matt, on your
I got like
play?
17. I made about 17 back. I played quarters.
Okay.
Not bad.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I turned around and spent $10 of that on a slice of pizza and a bottle of water at the
That's
pizza
decent
shop
pizza there.
Yeah, it's good pizza. Yeah, it was a fair price. It was like $9, and I tipped $1. So, that seems like a reasonable price for a pizza and a drink in Vegas.
Since I crept out on my free play, I did not get any pizza, and I still hadn't eaten anything for the day.
So you've been fasting all day
Yes.
so far.
Yes, so far. Although I did have a couple Irish coffees at Sigma Derby. I was living off Irish coffee.
Well, that'll keep you going for a while. That's true.
Yeah.
I assumed he was saving his appetite for some feast that they were going to give me for my retirement party.
I'm just glad you guys weren't on a budget. That's that's really great to really just let yourselves go wild. It's so nice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that, so far, my most expensive meal was a $15 buffet.
It's like you're either on a budget eating nothing, or else it's very bourgeois, and you say, "I'm intermittent fasting."
Yes. Yes. So we cashed out at the plaza, and then another big event was happening, and that is that we had booked a show at the Masters of Magic at the Las Vegas Magic Theater for 2 p.m.
This is the one we saw on our walk downtown.
Yep. And it was
With
it's walking
Lysander.
distance from the plaza. So we
Cool.
walked over there. We had met Lysander briefly on that trip with you, Dan. And so, you know Lysander a little bit. And we booked the tickets ahead of time, and it was great to see him. And we came in, but my big excitement was that with a ticket at Masters of Magic, you get a free drink and free popcorn. And so that was my first food, some actual sustenance that I got.
And we were in the leather couched VIP booths at the front, right by the stage for the show, which
is the way to see the show. Yeah. Because you want to be as close up as you can. And he brings the show to you too.
Yes.
Wherever you're sitting, you're part of the show. He got every single one of us involved in the show.
Yeah.
It's very much close-up magic and interactive magic too.
Yeah. I would strongly recommend going to see Lysander at the Masters of Magic, because it's magic, but it's not Vegas-y. It's not it's not that huge arena. I think if he had a sold out show, the farthest you'd be is maybe 25 feet from the stage.
Folks, I have to just tell you, if Matt tells you to go see a magic show,
yes.
Matt is not into Vegas entertainment and not into magic. And if he recommends
it's really
this,
true. It's really true.
That's a very rare thing.
The last time I saw magic, it was for my son's Cub Scouts troop, and I made the magician cry. So,
did you make Lysander cry?
No, I thanked him profusely for a fantastic show.
Very, very
and
cool.
Bert did a little interview with him afterwards that we'll have on the podcast. And he's a down-to-earth, very nice, wonderful guy who comes up with his own tricks. A couple of them were just, the show started a little slow with tricks that were like, okay, I've seen this trick before. But by the end, he's doing tricks he's invented that are kind of mind-blowing, including one that he does with the soap bubbles that he said he sold to other magicians, but they can't figure out how to do it.
Wow.
He's the only one that can do it. And I don't know how he does it. It's a quite amazing trick. Very fun show.
And he did a floating table trick with Matt that he floated all over the showroom over the heads of the people sitting in the showroom.
Seriously?
It was really incredible. Yeah.
I'm holding the tablecloth with him, and I have no idea how he's making this thing float between us. I honestly didn't. Or, more importantly, how he makes it vanish. It's a table.
Wow.
It's a real solid table.
Wow.
He makes vanish. And I'm standing 3 feet from him.
Wow. I wanted to see that. That sounds really cool. I'll go. I'll be the only person in the crowd next time, but I'll go. This is what I was worried about, is it would be awkward if it was just a bunch of guys. It was not even. Wow. Very cool.
No,
he knows how to work.
And he's a very warm showman too.
Yes.
He's very friendly. He's
patter.
got good humor, and he gets everybody involved. Yeah.
Well, Losander, you've reached
accomplished showman.
You've reached a high peak to have this kind of recommendation from Matt, especially. So
we will be back. We will absolutely be back, and I guarantee you, he'll do different tricks for us if he knows it's the same people. And
for sure,
I can see this being part of a soiree, one of the events in the soiree. We could book him essentially to do a show just for the soiree.
I love that. And
since
we're talking about it and I'm hosting, this is a good time just to say, look, listeners, reach out to us. We'll be talking about our stink line, but we're talking about making a big event for Neon Gutter listeners like we did back in the olden days. That's what we're talking about, the soiree. So just put that bug in your ear for now and we'll be coming back to it.
Yeah, let us know what you'd like to be if you'd like to be part of a soiree, which might have a magic show, a poker tournament, a penny slot tournament, cocktail soiree, a full event of you and us rolling in the gutter together. If you're interested in that, let us know so we can start gauging interest.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're going to do it anyway, so you might as well be there.
We just did it.
So this is a good time to take another quick break, but there are many more tales of the gutter to come. So when we come back, we're going to have our exclusive interview with the amazing magician Losander. Must be amazing to be able to impress Matt. Don't disappear. Don't disappear like that table.
Hi, I'm Marshall Brodeen, here at the Frontier Hotel in Las Vegas with the superstars of magic, Siegfried and Roy. And now, Siegfried and Roy bring you Pocket Magic, mystifying tricks you can perform anytime, anywhere. Make coins vanish into thin air. Put Mama Rabbit in one hand, Papa in the other. Like magic, they're both together. Take Mama and Papa, and now you have the whole family. Place a quarter on top of the box. Cover it with any card. Tap it, and the quarter jumps inside the box. Have someone pick a card. Place it back in the deck. Put the deck inside the box. And their card mysteriously rises out of the deck. And now you can carry these tricks in your pocket and be ready to perform magic at any time. The Siegfried and Roy Pocket Magic comes with everything you need, including easy-to-follow instructions to perform all of these amazing tricks.
Have fun with Pocket Magic. Available at Walgreens, Osco.
And now it's time for the Neon Gutters Sigma Derby Race of the Week.
We are back at the Sigma Derby. We're on a 1-4. We've got a big race coming up. We've got ski. We've got the whole Neon Gutter crew. And we are going to be watching the horses run. Ski strategy on this race.
Load up the 1-4 for 136. It's the best triple on the board.
The 1-4 for 136 is the best triple on the board. So load it up. What about you?
The 2-1, of course.
The 2-1, which is the 3-5. And here we go. The 1 is taking a huge lead out first. The 2, the 3, the 4, and then the 5. It's now 1-5 as we go into the turn. Coming up strong in the middle is the 3. The 3 is coming up through the middle. The 2 is coming on strong. It's still 1-5, but 2 and 3 are getting in there. This one's going to be a photo finish. As we come in, here comes 1-3, 1-3, 2-3 now. 2-3 takes the title. Does anyone win? No. Oh, Ski wins. Well, of course, Ski wins. The rest of us, not so much.
Hey, it's Lucky Ned again. We sure cleaned up again, didn't we? Every single time. That's because I had my lucky ham and cheese on rye sandwich just before the race. Pepperoncinis, they're just plain lucky. Now, what do you do if I'm not around next time to play Sigma Derby? Well, go to theneongunner.com and download my Sigma Derby Increditor system. That's a foolproof method for winning every single time. We'll have more Sigma Derby action for you on the next episode, and now let's get back to the show.
Thanks for joining us back here in the Neon Gutter. Matt and Bert have been talking about our group's most recent trip to Las Vegas and how much they enjoyed the show at the Las Vegas Magic Theater. And here is a quick interview they did with Losander, the star at the Las Vegas Magic Theater.
Hello, my friends in the Neon Gutter. This is Bert Cohn with Matt and the amazing Losander. We just saw an incredible magic show at Las Vegas Magic Theater with Losander, and we've got him here with us today. Losander, thank you very much for having us today.
Oh, thank you for coming. Yeah.
Very much our pleasure. Tell us a little bit about, as far as Las Vegas goes, how long have you been in Las Vegas and performing and working in Las Vegas?
Oh, I'm here now for the last 25 years, but not only here. I've performed in different shows and stuff and traveled the world. Have been in 60 different countries, mainly performed there on bigger stages than this one. But when I was starting in magic, which was like in my area where I grew up, like a little small village, Winkels it's called. And the nice part about Germany is when you had a radius of about 300 kilometers, you were pretty much everywhere, you know what I mean? So I did a lot of gigs, and some of them, they were also in people's living rooms, and the experience they had was just priceless, because if something like this happens directly in your own home, it's kind of incredible, right? So the idea was we wanted to recreate this here with the theater, to have a real homey feel and, like, you know, small crowds and stuff.
And that's definitely the feel that you get coming in here. It's not like a big theater at one of the big resorts. It's a very intimate theater, but beautifully presented, beautifully put together, and it really is a great location for some close-up magic, which is what you're doing. But you've done a lot of other big illusions. Can you talk about some of the other stuff that you've invented and sold to other magicians that are famous here in Las Vegas?
I mean, my philosophy is always this, you know, close-up magic on a big stage is never good. You know what I mean? Like there's people that perform with cards on 2,000 seat theater. You know, it's just not coming across. I don't want to see somebody on a big screen. So the opposite is better if you have even bigger stuff in a very small environment. So my whole entire life, I was put in these kind of positions. So everything I created had to work under any conditions, and it can be performed fully surrounded, which is very rare, because most magicians can only perform, you know, when nobody's in the back, you know. So otherwise to see how it's done. So one big illusion I sold to David Copperfield, and I did that in an amusement park, which is like you cover up a person with a cloth, and then the person levitates and vanishes and reappears in the audience. So I sold that to him several years ago. Definitely one of my highlights is the floating table, which has the rare thing that it can be done completely close up, like you saw it here, but it can also be done for 3,000 people, because it plays very big and it's very visual. You know what I mean? So that's my entire thing. I want to really have people a magical experience. And I think the closer you get to the real thing, the better the experience will be. And that's my whole goal, that everything looks really like it's real magic, you know? So, yeah.
And I can vouch for that. We just got done with the show. The levitating table trick that you mentioned is a definite showstopper. I've got no idea how, and Matt, you were the one, you know, working with that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was holding the table with him, and I have no idea how it happened.
Yeah, it's really amazing. How did you first get started in magic, or get an interest in magic? How did that come about?
Yeah, I mean, a friend of my grandfather, she was a woman. She had a sideshow, and in that sideshow, she was actually playing the character of the magician. And then her husband passed away and all that stuff. So she ended up meeting my grandfather. And then at the beginning, when I met her, she just entertained me with some magic, and I was always fascinated. And then at one point, I asked her if she could teach me some. So she started to teach, and then she saw that I was talented, and then and she did pretty much show me everything she did, But then, I don't know, I started so young, and that's always the risk. If somebody starts very young with something, there comes that point where you lose your kidly charm, or whatever you want to call it, right? Because when you're young, really young, you have a lot of things what people forgive because you're still a kid, right? And then there comes this moment, all of a sudden you become like adult-like, and then you have to pick it up a notch, And so the table I invented by sheer accident, really. I did a lot of shows for corporations, and back then there were other magicians doing it, but not many actually performed with their products. You know what I mean? And so I always used the product in the show to promote their products when I did it. And one company was Tefal. They used to make fryers. And their idea was, or their latest idea was, that the inside of the fryer you could take out, so it's easier to clean. And they wanted me to kind of levitate that out of there. And I said, okay, well, I had 2 weeks time to come up with the idea. And then I actually did with that fryer what the table does. But my dad, he was there, that's the best thing you did, but nobody wants to see the floating fryer, So then I brainstormed, and I came up all of a sudden, hey, maybe a table is it. And at first, nobody was sure because it's an awkward object and stuff. And then I did a prototype, and it took off from there,
Well, I tried to do magic myself for a while and called myself the floating fryer, but I didn't get anywhere. That just didn't last long, unfortunately.
He was terrible.
So we saw your amazing show. We really had a great time. My understanding is you have other shows and performances here at Las Vegas Magic Theater. Is that correct?
Oh, yeah. We have. As a matter of fact, I have another show at 4 now, and then another one at 6. But yeah, we also have different types of shows, and sometimes other magicians perform here. And then when I'm doing a gig somewhere, somebody else will come in. You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff. It's a very interesting place,
So tell us where people can find out a little bit more about your show and where they can come see it here in Las Vegas.
Okay, so the theater itself is called Las Vegas Magic Theater, and the show is called Masters of Magic. And then we have another one, which is very popular during Halloween times. It's called Witches and Warlock. That's also one. And then we have also a show called Close-Up Experience, but it's pretty much the same like Masters of Magic, because it's all close-up after all,
Great. And you're right here on Las Vegas Boulevard, so you're easy to get to, whether somebody's downtown or on the Strip. It's easy to get here.
Yeah, if you're downtown, it's really walking distance. And if you're down on the Strip, it's still easy to get to it, I mean, with a Uber or Lyft or a taxi.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Or the bus. That's right. You came with the bus, right?
Well, Sander, thank you so much for having us. We're really blown away by the show, and we can't wait to see you again sometime.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
So yes, he sounds great. What a warm guy. And I need to go see the show myself, having been in Stockholm. You can get more details if you want to go see Losander's show by visiting the website for the Las Vegas Magic Theater. It's best5starshow.com. Best5starshow.com. Okay, friends, that's it for this episode, but not nearly the end of this trip or its hijinks. There were hijinks for everyone. So we're going to have more in the next episode, including a look at our new favorite place on the Strip. It's on the Strip, and it features real 1 cent per hand video poker. You can actually bet in increments of 1 penny. We're also going to talk about the world's craziest live poker tournament and a knife-wielding maniac who wound up joining Matt's retirement party. That's next time. But before we leave you, this week we got great listener feedback on our Kostinko line, and so somebody actually called. Jason called in to talk about some of his favorite memories.
He was selected from the thousands of callers.
That's what I meant, yes.
Exactly.
The mailbox is full, so just keep calling. We're getting through them as fast as we can. Yeah, Jason told us about some of his favorite memories of the old sites from Las Vegas, and he's written a brand new haiku for us, too. So today's haiku comes from Jason. Thanks for listening, and thanks for contributing, Jason. You're one of us now. And we'll see you next time in the Neon Gutter.
The cash won't last.
The Neon Gutter is a Big Empire production. Randy Shandis, executive producer, and what a man. Our incredible theme music is courtesy of Rosin Coven. Do you have something to say? Call our voicemail line at 775-400-2941. Also bet those numbers at Keno. That's 775-400-2941. And for more episodes, vintage photographs, video, and contact information, plus those amazing trip reports, visit us at neongutter.com.
Hey guys, this is Jason from the internet. So like the thousands and thousands of your listeners, I also thought the Big Empire was gone forever. I was really excited to see y'all start up this podcast and see that it was a thing again. I guess I noticed through a conversation on the site formerly known as Twitter last year. Back in the day, I found the site probably through Usenet or maybe a Lyco search for Vegas. I'm not sure how exactly I stumbled across it, but it was such a niche site. As an Imperial Palace man myself, at the time I thought the 25 cents a day, made me feel like a high roller. But I look forward every year to the trip reports. I'd check it, in advance of my trips and really enjoyed what y'all did. It all felt like we were in on an elaborate inside joke, and y'all did a great job with that and really keeping it going for a number of years. One thing you haven't talked about, I really think the maps y'all had on the site were really underrated. They were probably the best strip maps online at the time. This is before Google Maps and all that other stuff. So just planning my trips from my hometown, it was always valuable to be able to go see y'all's strip map and really kept it up to date. So I appreciate that. My favorite part perhaps is the whole Randy Shandis character. It's just so absurd, how that flowed through, your entire site. It was really just again, like I said, felt like we're all in on an inside joke. It was great. I'd love to hear more about Randy Shandis and how you came across the name and the eyebrows and sort of everything there. The whole shtick of Mayor of the Internet is it's just great. I was inspired to write, I guess not a haiku, but a senryu probably, based on your stroll from Fremont Street all the way down to South Point, which is absolutely ridiculous. We've stumbled about halfway, I guess, from downtown to the stratosphere before turning back. So to make it all the way to South Point is just absolutely incredible. So without further ado, here's my haiku. Start on Fremont Street. Talcum powder everything. South Point by midnight. Ciao.
So why don't you guys either shit or get off the pot? Let's take this fucker home. Just kidding. I have to use that.